Welcome back to First Listen, everybody. My name is Tenthile, and I hope you're doing well today. This time on First Listen, man oh man, we checked out Alice in Chains' latest release, their 6th studio album, Rainier Fog. This is a band that is just so influential, so iconic, especially through the 90s and a little bit of the early 2000s when their band was actually kind of being emulated by a lot of other bands. This is the 3rd album since the passing of Lane Staley, and this band just keeps getting better and better. I really have always just loved this band. I mean, you go the whole way back to some earlier stuff, Nutshell, Rooster, Down in a Hole, to their later stuff with the new lead singer. Your Decision, and take your pick. This band has always been really good. So I'm pretty excited about this album. So let's get into this first listen. Slicing through with some distorted riffs and some light drums, the one opens the album. The vocals are actually quite measured, slow at parts, and then sometimes there's this effect that pulls the vocals up to this slight yell that actually is pretty effective. And I would be remiss to not mention the guitars. Man, they actually kick some serious ass. And I'm probably going to talk about guitars over and over and over. And it's the solos, it's the presentation, it's all of it. It is just so good. And wasting no time, the tone is already set for Rainier Fog, the title track of the album. And I'm not kidding, they waste no time with this layered guitar riff effect. So we have guitar riffs on guitar riffs, and it actually comes across super well because I wasn't expecting it. Sometimes Alice in Chains has kind of just been very methodical. And I feel like this track really delivers that cool atmosphere, that nostalgic feeling that we just love to go back to, especially with this band because, as I mentioned before, they're so iconic. That sound, it's been emulated and their covers are actually even good. It's just a good band doing great music. Who doesn't want to hear that? And there's points here where the track slows down and then builds back up, and it just provides this very balanced feeling to an already very balanced and well-rounded band. They just show us even more. I love it. A slight vocalization and a little bit of a screaming guitar really set the groundwork for Red Giant. And this track definitely kicks some ass. This one features some very chunky guitar that kind of has these tones that just peek through. And you can't help but just want to hear more and more of it. And the vocals kind of teeter between this slow format and this normal sound that then is just quickly accented by, again, some awesome guitar. And the solos, I just cannot talk about these solos enough. They just feel so perfect for the track. They don't feel out of place. They're not too long. They're not too short. They're definitely not watered down. They come through very well. It's good stuff. Down a notch with a slightly more chill vibe, we have Fly. This track actually makes you tap your foot, made me tap my foot, to those rhythmic drums. I kind of liked that it pulled in slowly like that. The drums, again, on this album are really good. Again, not overstated, not overstaying their welcome either. Kind of just providing this nice little accompaniment to beautiful guitar and the vocals and all their range. It's just a beautiful thing to see all of this come together in such a cool way. And again, the guitar solo on this one is nuts. The vocals are just seamless. I feel like I'm just spreading so much praise here about this, and it's well deserved. This is a great album. Slow guitar with that heavy bass for Drone. A track that hits all the levers, pulls them all real nice, and sets us up for a really awesome track. And I think it's that pause early on that was actually very effective, that helps to showcase the range, the vocal range, the instrumental range of this band. Again, I would be remiss to not mention again how well-rounded this band feels. There's always kind of this hard rock, kind of a metal, and then there's something else that's just always infused with this band. Maybe it's kind of a sadness, but an honest sadness that you don't mind hearing about, that just comes across so well in every track. Doesn't matter what it is, it just feels right. And those vocals, they almost actually outshine some incredible guitar licks that just, again, kick so much ass. With a very Avenged Sevenfold vibe, just slightly on the guitar there, we have Deaf Ears, Blind Eyes. And this track is simple. It's graceful, it peaks when it needs to, it does this thing where it mixes everything together very well. It's just a great track to listen to a cappella, and then some stretching notes. We have Maybe, a track that serves as the quintessential elegance that we've come to know from a band as awesome as Alice in Chains. It's a nice change up from the heavy vibe that the album kind of has, this overtone there. This is kind of a different vibe, but it's super effective still. Sometimes that can kind of backfire on bands, but this is Alice in Chains, and things don't normally backfire. So you feel very good about tracks like these, you know, kind of just peppered in with the heavier, more downtrodden tracks that stick to you. And of course, we're graced with another beautiful solo, beautiful guitar, and that finish. What's not to love? Back to the heavy vibe, we have So Far Under, a track that really does lean in to this heavy vibe in a nice way too. It provides this beautiful, beautiful experience. And it's this kick-ass guitar again, and how snugly the vocals sit behind the instrumentals, because we're kind of pushing them forward and trying to really feel them more than anything else. And it provides this very effective, cool theme that is noticed the whole way through. You can't ignore it either. It grabs you and pulls you in, and you just love it. Upbeat drums and a little bit of a funky guitar on Never Fade. A track that has like really good drums, really good vocals, really good guitars, but I feel like it's the message that actually hooks you and pulls you through the track, because it's this message of really, well, never fading, never forgetting. It's kind of a beautiful thing when you think about the history of this band. Taking its time, the album finishes with All I Am. Slowly and softly at first, and then kind of pulling itself up a notch, this track becomes very reflective. And you can't help but kind of fade into this song. It's a 7-minute track that feels like it's 2 minutes long because it goes so quickly. It becomes this beautiful thing that you can't ignore. And that's what this album is. An album you cannot ignore. You 100% must listen to this album. This is one of the better albums of this year by far. Really good stuff the whole way through. I feel like there's stuff for everybody. If you're a rock fan, this is as good as it gets. And I'm really happy to listen to this one again. So that's going to do it for this edition of First Listen. I hope you enjoyed. Hit up the comments down below with your thoughts about this album. Maybe subscribe, like the video, and click the bell so that you get notifications, and we'll see you again soon in another First Listen.